you should have a cardboard circle, approximately 50 pages of a old book, some ribbon, a glue stick. Ooh, I don't think I have my glue stick. Oh, good, I have one here. And some really basic instructions I printed out in case anyone can't do this live, or maybe you do better with visual instructions. Hi, Jamie. Oh, I hope Kiara had a good time at soccer and it wasn't too cold for her. All right, so very, very easy. I did plug in my hot glue gun already, so that is warming up. So if you haven't plugged yours in yet, definitely get on that so it's warm enough for us to start putting our pieces together. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is take our pre-cut squares, or if you guys haven't cut yours, you might or have not cut them. I think I left 2 full sheets. So you do want to cut them into squares, which is pretty easy. Like you just fold it over, boop, and then cut where the square is. And then glue stick in hand, you are going to turn it into like a ice cream cone, I guess would be the right shape. Just like that. So I'm going to put a little glue on there. Oops. And ta-da! All right, so that's our first little cone. So what I'm going to do is evenly place them. This one's going to be about, let's see, how far did we get that one? Maybe 3 inches from the edge. So we're going to do 1 layer, then a second layer, and a third layer with a little rose in the middle if you'd like. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple of those. Glue along the edge. And, oops. Just like a little ice cream cone. Or if anyone's ever made, I don't know if I've seen them before. I've never seen anyone actually do them. But they like make little May Day baskets that you hang on people's doors as like a little gift for the beginning of spring and summer. So along one whole side of your square and fold kind of over to make a cone. It does not have to be perfect remotely. Once you get them all piled up, like if there's any slight imperfection, you will definitely not see it. Leah, how are you doing? Is anyone else there watching? Okay, so I think it's a bunch. I'm just gonna see how many we need. It's like 20 something for the bottom. Hi Heidi, how are you? All right, good, cutting squares, yep. It's not hard, and the paper is nice and thin. I think almost everyone's ended up being an encyclopedia. That the paper was just like the perfect aged look, and it was an older encyclopedia, out of date. We didn't use it anymore, so it became perfect for this upcycling craft. And it's such an easy craft that if you ever have a book whose binding falls apart or a favorite book, you can always upcycle it into this. This will not take you long at all, kind of like once you get started. I promise you, I did the hardest part for you, and that was cutting out those cardboard squares out of boxes. It was less fun than I anticipated. But we just upcycled like Amazon boxes, like all different shipping boxes and boxes of books. All right, so I'm gonna do a couple, glue a couple down so you can kind of see how we go with that. Let me put those to the side. All right, so I want this triangle part facing upwards, right? That's like the petals of the kind of flowery wreath. And I want it about 3 inches down. Okay, so I only have to put glue there. I don't need to put it anywhere else, and it doesn't take a lot, like you're just putting paper on, so it'll hold up just fine. And now to keep it symmetrical, I'm going to do another one directly across. Again, maybe 2 inches, just like that, making sure our tips are up. Hi Mom, how are you? I'm going to do like a cross and then fill in evenly. And you want to make sure it's nice and balanced. So I hope you guys have bigger like dining room tables than I have a desk to do this at. Oh, that one spun a little bit. Okay. If you do plan on using this as like a Christmas decoration, obviously be careful putting it outside because it's paper, and also you hot glue tends to be finicky when it gets cold or wet or hot, obviously. So just be careful with that. Like our attic gets really, really cold, so anything I hot glue sometimes comes apart in the attic over the winter. So I have to be careful. And then in the summer, it gets crazy hot. Hi, Kiara and Penny. How are you guys? I haven't seen you in a while, I feel. It's probably only been like a week or two, but it feels like it's been longer. All right, I'm gonna put this one in. Will it fit in your RV? It's pretty big. I guess you could make a miniature one with just tinier squares would be fine. You could kind of make it whatever size you want. But I probably know somebody that can hook you up with a nice one. Oops, running out of glue. Get another glue stick. All right, I'm gonna put that to the side. Go back to making some squares with you guys. Okay, so it looks like I'm gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24 for the bottom. To keep it nice and even is what it looks like it's gonna be. I think I have it written down in my instructions, but. Okay. So then I did a 4 in like a X pattern, and then I did a little bit and then did an X pattern in the center of that. So again, it does not remotely have to be perfect. It's going to be so like floofy that if it's a little bit off, no one will ever notice. I hope everyone's excited. If you guys are signed up for this weekend's sewing, virtual sewing class, it's our Hocus Pocus cross stitch. That class filled up 3 times. Like, filled it up, I closed it down. Miss Beginning, do you cut these sheets in half? Oh, sure. Hold on one moment, Linda, and I will show you. What you're going to do is, so you have the full-size sheets. I just took the corner and folded it up to make them square. And then just cut right there. So all you're left with are just squares of paper. So you can make the squares however big you want. I just made them the same size as like the bottom of the paper, because I wanted a big, nice full wreath. If you don't have enough space, like say you live in an RV full time, then you could make yours with smaller squares. make a little bit of a tinier wreath. You can make this with newspaper, would be really cute because then it would be like black and white instead of creamy. So if you do like a black and white theme, or if your house has a lot of black and white in it, newspaper might be kind of cool. We were talking about how wrapping paper, like Christmas wrapping paper, would be really awesome to make this out of, or any holiday, I guess, really. Scrapbook paper would be a little bit stiffer, so it might be less forgiving in curling, but you could still do it. You just have to go a little slower. Copy paper, regular white copy paper, if you wanted an all white one, that would be cute. And then just put some like glitter, like white glitter or Epsom salt all over it, so it looked like snowy. Lots of cool ideas to make one, everyone. You could even put some glitter on this one if you wanted it wintry. But I would not say that it is specifically like Christmas or fall wreath. I have two really gorgeous built-in bookshelves on either side of my fireplace that my husband built for me. I was thinking, I have a big mirror in between them above the fireplace. I was thinking that this wreath might be really, really cute there. All right, I'm gonna do one more and then see where we are. Linda, did you get that about making the squaring to get the right shape? Just want to make sure I explain that for you before I move these over for a second. All right, so I got these ones back here. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna put 2 between each one. I'm gonna do 2 strips of glue, kind of squish them in next to each other. Okay, push them down. No problem. If you guys have any questions, need me to slow down or start over or explain something again, just holler for me. All right. There's those ones. And once I'm done recording, you'll be able to watch the replay. So you can't go backwards while I'm still recording, but once I'm finished, which I promise you will not be long, you can go back and then stop it and start it, pause it, whatever you need. If I'm going a little bit too fast for you. I love how some of my papers, because they're from the encyclopedia, have like little maps on them. Oh, a map one would be really cute. I like that. I have to go find some old maps. I think actually I have a whole bunch of old road maps from like the 60s. No glue. All right, so this is my, I did use a lot of hot glue doing these, so I just want everyone to be kind of prepared for that. I think I went through like 6 or 7 glue sticks for the first one. I think I'm almost done with my second one for this project. So just be prepared. Talking to you, Jamie. Very nervous about your hot glue gun. This should be a pretty easy project for you to practice your hot glue gun with. All right, so I need 4 more for this part. I will probably, if anyone is registered for or signed up for the Hocus Pocus cross stitch on Saturday, I'm probably going to post a couple prep pictures for you. For for you guys to get ready so you can start sewing right away with me on Saturday. We also have, what else do we have this week? We have a intro to Reiki class coming up. So I'm very excited about that because that's something I've wanted to learn more about. I'm excited to do so. We have tons of great books here in the library to kind of, if you know nothing, you can get started with those before coming to the program. That's in person. I think that's October 16th or 14th. Where did I put that? Oh, the 14th with Miss Nemiak with Jane is coming in and teaching that. We have our History Day is the 16th. We're hosting that with the West Pittston Historical Society. So they always bring lots of really cool historical artifacts from the town. I think last time they had like one of the original uniforms from the Grablick's Dairy, which is really neat. And if you have any photos or historical pieces from the town, they will have a scanner that they bring in so they can scan it to their collection. So you get to keep the original, they scan it and add it to their database, which is pretty cool. And then the 21st, we have a paint and sip that is almost full, so I'm very, very sorry if anyone misses that. I think there are a couple spots left. And we have a blood drive on the 29th. So if you are interested in donating blood, you go right to the American Red Cross website, which is redcross.org, I'm pretty sure. Or if you have donated before, they have a very easy to use app, which is how I recommend registering. And after the blood drive, we have our first after hours program, which this month is October, is a book club by one of my newly favorite authors, Grady Hendrix. And the book is the Final Girl Support Group. I don't know if anyone has heard of it. October 29th. Yeah, October 29th. Not today. And so we have a little book club. The book is all about a therapy group of all the last girls that survived, the slashers of the slasher 80 movies. So think Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, all those movies. And it's a story about them, which is pretty cool. So if you like kind of a little bit thrillers, a little bit tongue-in-cheek humor, you will like it. It is not my favorite book that he has written, but my favorite book that he has written was a book called Horror Store, which is a horror story that takes place in a store very similar to IKEA, but it's not called IKEA, where the IKEA was built on haunted grounds. And obviously shenanigans ensue, but the whole book is set up like an IKEA catalog, which I find brilliant. And it even has the furniture diagrams in it, and as the story gets weirder and weirder, the diagrams are for weirder and weirder furniture. But every time I even think about that book, I'm re-entertained by how funny it was. I don't really do super scary murder mystery books, but I do funny scary. Okay, I'm gonna bring my wreath back. Whoa, it's getting a little unwieldy. Alright, I'm gonna put 2 lines there. And squish that down. Anyone have anything exciting going on in their lives lately? I have a cousin's wedding coming up, and my son just turned 18, which is strange and exciting at the same time. But he's handling it well, so better than probably I am. All right, so I got my first group done, and now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to bring, can you guys see this part? Let me bring it over here maybe. I'm going to line up my second row of cones in between each row. And let me just make sure that that's what mine looks like. Yep, okay. I'm going to put whoop, down and right in between. Squish it down. 3 inches about, and squish it down. Okay, whoops. All right, hold on, my glue gun is not heating up as fast as I'm putting glue down. Okay. All right. All right, how's everyone doing? Are you guys keeping up? Am I going too fast? There's real no, I wouldn't say there's no art form, but you can't do it wrong. Just like most art and crafts. There's no wrong way to do it. Okay, put that one down. If you're watching this on the replay, let me know if you had any issues while watching the replay. Just comment, send me a message. So it's probably easiest if you have the space to make all your cones at first. And then just have a wicked big pile of cones that you can just glue in as you go. All right, there's that one. All right, I'm gonna have to switch back to making cones in a second. So I have run out. But it looks like I only need 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 more for this row. Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this is about 24 or 20, yeah, 24 on the first level, like 20 on the second level. Oh, you know what? The book must be bigger of this one that I'm making now versus the first one that I did, because it's significantly bigger, I think. Although the first one that I did, I used pages from Harry Potter that had to be replaced. So its pages are a lot more white, and I prefer this antiqued looking one of the encyclopedia. Is anyone else really excited for the new Dune movie to come out? I feel like that's obviously other people must be excited, but I don't get to run into a lot of people who are excited about Dune movie. Very unsure about Timothée Chalamet, but actually I haven't disliked him in anything yet, so I'm just being stodgy about it. We did see Shang-Chi last week, which was very good. I liked that a large chunk of the movie was in Mandarin with subtitles, which I really enjoy. I know a lot of people don't like subtitles. If you don't like subtitles, I would not recommend the movie. If that's something that you're definitely against, because there's a lot of subtitles. But they don't bother you. It was very good. Just started reading the first book. Oh, not going to be ready for the movie. So I read them, oh my goodness, I had been middle school or high school when I read them. But my goal for October is to reread at least the first one. Because I'm assuming if this movie does well, that they'll make subsequent movies. So I'll have time to read the sequels. I found a woman who was making these very funny TikToks that was explaining all of Dune and all the words and how to pronounce them and who everybody is. It made me laugh a lot. So I got my husband the Dune graphic novel, so he can kind of read it with me. Oh, make sure you don't cone your last sheet of paper. Put that to the side. That's going to be our rows in the middle. Alright, I'm going to put these up here and glue my last section. Oh, I think I probably should have glued my ribbon on the back first. Jamie, you gotta get like the audiobook or something so you can read it while you're doing other stuff. I feel like that's the best way for me to accomplish a lot of reading. Not always, but or I guess you can always, I don't know, do they even make Spark Notes anymore? Is that a thing? I don't know. I hated audiobooks. I did not think audiobooks were reading until I started working here and we were renovating our house. So we were doing all the work ourselves. So I was spending a lot of time sanding and spackling and all sorts of shenanigans during Steven's nap time. And I started my first audiobook that I really enjoyed was called Ireland by Frank Delaney. It was like a history of Ireland, just about Dublin, I think, really. From before the Vikings all the way through. And it was so good that I became a full convert. And I am probably listening to at least one audiobook at a time, if not more, every single week. They're great to do while you're crocheting or cross-stitching or laundry or cooking. Probably not while you're working. That's probably fair. I do get kind of upset that I can't listen and read two different books at the same time because that would just be much more efficient. Okay, so once you got that second row down, your last row, you are going to trim off. Let's make sure you can see that. Like the bottom 2 inches. Ta-da! Just going to do that with all of them. Ta-da! 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 But I really like that one. And especially Dune is like a really heavy book with a lot of words that are very difficult to pronounce and remember. Like an audio might be a really good option. I also, let's see, what are some other like really good ones that I listen to? I listened to a book by Tracy Chevalier called The Virgin Blue, which I had no idea what it was about. We had it here on the shelf and I was like, oh, let me try that out. It ended up being like a murder mystery that like spanned centuries that I was not prepared for. So heads up, read the back of a book before you bring it home. Okay, so now I'm just going to arrange these kind of and then glue them down wherever I want them. Okay, that's looking good. Let's squish that down a little, squish, squish, just the tips. I'm sorry if my hands are in the way. Hey. Yeah. Like, I wish I used to travel a lot for work. Like I did traveling merchandising. So I was often, like an hour, you know, nothing too bad, but back and forth. And I wish I had thought about audiobooks before then. I was just cranking music and drinking too much coffee instead. But, you know, sometimes you just get into your head that certain things like don't count or they're just not for you. I think sometimes it just takes the right book or the right mood. I just actually called my grandmother, was it last night or the night before maybe, and asked her for a recipe for these pickled eggs that she used to make with beets, and she put them in a jar. And I couldn't even fathom how those could have been good when I was a kid. And then I just randomly was like, oh, you know what? I should try those again. I think they would be good now. So I'm going to make them this weekend. And I'm going to hope that they're going to be as good as I'm expecting. All right, there's my center. Oops, got my wires tangled up. All right. Oh, that one is not glued in. There we go. That's happier now. Sometimes you just got to be in the mood to try something new. All right. Maybe I'll move this to the side to do this part. What was something else recently? Oh, sauerkraut. I hated sauerkraut as a kid. I don't know if it's a real tradition or just like a tradition my family did, where like you had to eat a bite of sauerkraut for good luck on New Year's, and I loathed it. It was like the worst part of the holidays for me, which is probably super dramatic, but I did not look forward to eating sauerkraut at all, and now I love it. So, and like cabbage is like one of my favorite vegetables. So, who knows? Maybe just it's real. I don't know. I still think it was my mom making stuff up just to make me eat sauerkraut for no reason. But it worked out well because now I eat it. All right, so I am going to make a big circle out of my last piece of paper. Not, you don't have to draw it dark or anything. You're just making a circle. This sheet of my encyclopedia is all about Kansas. So there's that. Is that circle enough? All right, so if anyone remembers, we did like paper flowers or felt flowers, I think, last year. So we're gonna do something kind of similar to that. We always have pork and sauerkraut for New Year's Day. Yep, me too. And we did dumplings. My grandma makes like super amazing dumplings that go on top of the pork and sauerkraut. It's just like, I don't know, Bisquick and water, and she just plops it on top of the roast while it's cooking. I don't know, but it's really good. Which is different than the ham and dumplings that she also used to make, which was like flour rolled out into a dough and then cut into squares and then put into the roast. Which I do. Oh no, that's ham pot pie. That's what she calls that. All right. Circle. We're going to cut a squiggly line all the way around. You know, you just don't maybe appreciate how exciting your family's food is when you're young. Okay. All right, so now I'm just going to do a spiral going in, making kind of wavy lines. I'm sure I've talked about this in other videos, but we got these food boxes called Universal Yums. It's all like different countries, and it's like 18 different snacks from each country. And we have been loving it. So this is like our 4th month. The kids love trying all the different snacks, and we get to rate them and see which one's the best. But this month is the Czech Republic. So I had to look up different Czech recipes, which I'm not familiar with, but they're actually pretty close to a lot of German recipes, so I am familiar with those. I was debating if I wanted to work up the bravery to make kolache, I think it is. Or like hard on the outside with fruit fillings in the middle, maybe? Okay, so we did our spiral. And we just did a little bit wavy because it's going to be like rose looking. And I'm going to take my glue stick. Yeah, I think it's like a cookie or like a pastry. I think they're called kolaches. They look kind of like thumbprint cookies, but with like a flakier pastry. I feel like I've seen them since we've moved here, but I can't remember where. So I can't even remember where to go to buy them so I don't have to make them. I think maybe at like that church over in Pittston, they have that street fair. Maybe I saw it there. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue around the edge, and then I'm going to start rolling from the end. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to keep the bottom even, so the outside kind of turns into that flour. Owen Street Bakery used to make them. Oh, but they closed. They were in Sawyersville. I don't even know where Sawyersville is. Jamie, you know, like my my radius is like West Pittston and Main Street of Pittston. That's about it. Oh, also Aldi's. I do get to Aldi's, which I heard reopened, so that's exciting. So I think what I'm making some Czech Christmas bread that has almonds and raisins in it, and a pork belly roast. Usually the boxes have so much food that it's like more than we can eat, really. I think we had like 8 people over at one point to try it all, and like that was like the perfect amount for how much like treats we got. Give me more glue. You know, it's so much treats and they're so sweet. Just like on Christmas when you eat too much candy. Okay, so just gonna spin it around my finger. I left this part flat. Just gonna stick a chunk of hot glue on it. I've never been to Royal Bakery. I think is over on 11 by the bowling alley. And over by maybe Carver's Ice Cream is over there. I think it's called Modern Bakery. King's Bakery, maybe? Actually, I don't know what it's called now. But I was thinking about looking over there. What it's called again? Maybe it's a Christmas idea? Kolache? Oh, here, let me... Oh, you know what? Maybe it's... Oh, yeah. Here, that's on Betty Crocker's website. Oh, the snack boxes is Universal Yums. It's like... I highly recommend it. You guys probably need like the smaller box. It's 2 different sizes. Oh, Royal Bakery. Thank you, Linda. It is Royal Bakery. There's like a small size and a large size. There's a lot of us. So, and we kind of make it like a whole deal. I make a meal that's themed that way, from whatever the country is. We did Taiwan, and we had like a stir fry. We did Greece, and we had gyros. So, okay. So here is, I actually probably left a little bit too much space there. But my little flower, my little ruse, and really you can put whatever you want there. If you just wanted to put one last cone, like facing straight out, you totally could. And I'm gonna put mine, glue a whole bunch of glue and stick it right down in there. Oops. Oops, need more glue. All right, so it's like 6 glue sticks so far. So just make sure you have enough on hand so you don't have to come back to the project. That's always the worst. I'm gonna kind of glue these a little bit down, I think. So yeah, I think I might try Royal Bakery this weekend and see if they have anything that's better than I can make. Although it actually, I was just thinking it's about time to start my Christmas baking and storing it in the freezer. Thumbprint cookies, my husband, that's his favorite that I make. I only make 2 kinds of cookies, so he really doesn't have a lot of options. But he likes the thumbprint ones. All right. Can you guys see that? All right, let's see if I can get a little bit taller. So you can see all of it. Can you see that any better? It's a pretty tight screen. Let's see. It's very cute. Thank you. Let's see. Oh, there we go. So there it is. Oops. Oh, I'm tangled up. There it's perfect. And I'll show. Oh, and I forgot. Just glue the ribbon on the back. I should probably do that. But there's that. Came out really cute. And like I said, you can. You have to glue that one down. Thank you, Leah. Let me show you. if I started on my Harry Potter one, where is it? I started taking a little bit of brown marker to kind of like age the edges a little bit because I thought it was, I don't know, not aged enough. All right, I'm going to show you one last. I'm going to hang it up on the front door so you guys can see it there. There you go. So that's your completed book wreath.